Happy release day eve, unless you're listening to this a little late, in which case, happy release day. Final preview cards are today. As a programming note, this will be my last podcast for this release. I traditionally am silent the day of release so that you could bask in the glory that is the cards that are there in the set. And there's a lot of good stuff to look at, 4 of which you've seen today. And I've got to say that Charlie really put it best in his article, because up until almost 12 hours ago, I'm like, couldn't this just be an email? Couldn't all these cards be an email? Couldn't you just say that, like, all just make them all Vulcan on a instant or objective, say they can attempt Earth and just call it a day? But Charlie makes a really good case for these to be new personnel, and it does follow in the theme both in deciphering the continuing community era of making affiliated cards after those affiliations are introduced. Speaking of awesome things Charlie's done, there's a deck attached to his article, and there's a lot of things you can do with his deck. The article even tells you some cool things you can do by adding in more Federation, adding in more Starfleet, or just going a more Vulcan route, which is the mark of a good deck. There's a bunch of good ways you could play it differently. So yeah, thank you, Charlie Plain. I'll also say that Investigate Warp Signature was a really hard needle to thread for getting a picture, because we already have the Vulcan lander. We needed another Vulcan lander for the set, and on top of that, we needed another way to visually say that we're investigating the warp signature. And yeah, the lights in the middle of the sky took care of that really well. Congratulations to Art with finding that exact image, and I gotta say, Art really nailed it with this set. In fact, looking at it overall, I mean, these are the TNG films. They're not in the hallowed halls of granite marble statues that is the original series movies, but these are great cards. Even the ones we got today, I'm looking at them and I'm like, would we ever get these cards if not for a set looking at the TNG films? I don't think so. And the designers did a great job with getting these cards. One of the cool things you could do is you could actually have 3 Guinan in play. You're probably not, but you could actually have 3 Guinan in play. They don't seem to be versions of each other's persona, although you could have done that as far back as Refugee Guinan, since the current one is a persona of the one we got in the Phaedral collection. So, as with everything I say, feel free to disregard statements. But it's a fun set. Everyone did a good job. And with this being the last set, specifically bringing everyone up to speed, we now get to move forward to another phase of design, where we've looking at still big topics, but not as big as making Deep Space Nine work, making this other big stuff work. So you can imagine that we might get things a little more focused going forward. We'll see how that goes. Those are my thoughts overall. Big thanks to art, design, playtesting, programming, proofreading, creative, and probably a bunch of other departments that I'm thinking of. If I missed you, I apologize. Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you with the next set, and take care.